Hey, what is up today? So I'm coming at you from a totally different style video today. I'm actually working using my Starlink, which you probably can't even see out here, out on the lawn at some rental units that I own, which is one of the perks, I guess, of what we do here as digital entrepreneurs, media buyers, and things like this, because our income can be above average. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today about something that's not directly about a hack in terms of getting more leads, producing more revenue, figuring out how to buy ads, et cetera, et cetera. I want to talk to you just a little bit about like what we should be doing if we're successful at this, because I have learned the hard way and I wish I thought about this more so, 10 years ago. So this video, I'm going to talk to you about, a few lessons I've learned over the last literally 20 years now. I've been an entrepreneur online and done a crap ton of things, from SEO to, paid search, to selling calls, to building an HVAC company, to starting some print-based media like direct mail. And now, anyways, it goes on and on. I'll talk about these things in another video sometime. But what I want to talk to you a little bit about today is, look, if you're making more than you actually need in your agency, your freelance business, your affiliate business, wherever you're at, here's a few things that I want to recommend that you do. And first, if you've got extra money, don't waste it. Right? A new car isn't going to matter. A bigger house isn't going to matter. Trips with your family, things like this, they'll matter. But material things, I'm telling you, because I've gone down that path, probably not worth it. Go invest it. I'm not going to talk about, I'm not an investment advisor. This is not investment advice. Whether you want to buy Bitcoin for the long term, whether you want to buy ETFs, whether you want to buy, Google stock, Facebook stock, Tesla stock, I don't care. Put it somewhere for the long haul. Let it multiply. That's the first thing. And set it and forget that. Do that consistently. Something I wish I had done a decade ago is started taking, $100 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000 a month, whatever I could afford, and start stacking it. Just buying, dollar cost averaging, right? Wish I was doing that. I didn't. I do now, but it's only been the last 4 or 5 years that I've consistently done this, right? So do that. That's one. 2, try and figure out how to replace bits of what you do, because generally speaking, as media buyers, a lot of us struggle with being control freaks, and a lot of us have different neurodivergent stuff, be it like ADHD or OCD or anxiety, things like this, and it's hard for us to let go. We're generally control freaks in many ways, right? And something that I've struggled with aggressively is getting someone in place to help do the things that I don't need to do. I feel like no one else can do it, but it's not true. Someone can do it 80% as good as me, 75% as good as me. If that frees me up to go do other things, then I should really be looking at doing that. I haven't been doing that enough. If you're not doing it, pick one thing in your business. Just take a week. I know probably everybody's heard this before. Take a week, write down everything that you have to do in the run of a week. Maybe it's editing videos, writing scripts, dealing with customer service, looking at paid ad reports in Meta, Facebook, TikTok, Google, wherever it's at. And just pick one thing that's taking, even 2 to 5 hours a week, and figure out how to take that off your plate. Do it one thing at a time. You see, for me, I found it's been overwhelming that when I try and replace myself entirely, I can't do it. But if I chunk myself up into pieces, I'm better able to be like, oh, I can replace this piece and create a system around it. The first thing I was able to do this with is most of our administrative tasks, and God bless her, Donna, who's worked for me for a long time now, she'll probably watch this, has been able to take on all of our administrative stuff and make it like literally 1,000% better than I ever could, because my brain doesn't work that way. I'm not jazzed by that stuff. I'm actually incredibly bored by it. But she loves it, right? There's always someone who likes to do the things. And she's just oiled this up so well, paid off debts and got things better in shape, and she just manages it all. So thank you, Don, if you're watching this. It doesn't run without you, right? So look at how you can chunk that up and do that now. Even if you think you can't afford it, you'll be able to spin off that extra time into something else. This is not a scripted video, by the way, so this could be all over the road. Third thing I want to talk about is asset building. Okay, now, yes, I'm talking to you right now from apartment units that we own, that we run. We've invested money from, our agency that we've done over the last few years, and we buy this. And this isn't necessarily a profitable business center, but for us, it is a long-term equity growth play for myself, my family, right? And in the long term, maybe my kids will benefit from this, and eventually when I retire, it'll benefit us. And it's, so going back to that, like DCA buying stuff, real estate's not a bad thing. It's not like what the books say, just as an aside. It's a lot harder than you think, dealing with tenants, dealing with vacancies, dealing with repairs, but that's for a whole nother video, right? But The next thing that I do want to talk about is asset building, and not in like the real estate world of it, but as if you do pay per lead or you're an affiliate marketer, right, specifically, even if you're an agency that does like retainer-based work or freelance-based work or consulting-based work, think about what happens if you stop tomorrow. Do you have any ongoing business equity in what you're doing, or is there none, right? And this is something I'm constantly trying to learn from, because I'm really good at writing ads. I'm really good at running leads, right? I am the guy that people come to in the life insurance and financial services space in most of the English-speaking countries across the world to solve problems on demand gen and YouTube when they can't make it work, and I figure it out. But if I stop, there's nothing else there. I'm paid really well for that when I do it, but I'm basically just a really high-paid employee in that way, or freelancer. The idea of asset building means, are we stacking those hours and that time and that work we do so that it turns into something in the future? Most of us in this space aren't, unfortunately. We don't own the business we're running. We're on consultancy, we're on retainer, we're selling leads, we're doing affiliate marketing. So one of my largest regrets from the last 20 years in this world is that I haven't focused highly on building email lists or some sort of customer list in the markets I'm in. Short story, 15 years ago, I owned a portfolio of 10 really good affiliate sites. You can actually, I'll link to it in this video. There's a 15-year-old video of me doing a review for a DVD-based guitar lesson course, and I was getting thousands upon thousands of visitors a day to the site I had at that time. No email list building, no pop-ups, no lead magnets, no nothing. Even though I'd gone through Dan Kennedy's stuff, magnetic marketing, looked at lead magnets, looked at nurturing, looked at all this stuff, I wasn't doing it. It was too easy just to run the Black Hat SEO stuff, get the clicks to the affiliate offer, make the money then. So short-sighted, right? So short-sighted. Because had I done that 15 years ago, I wouldn't be making this video for you now, probably, because I'd be maybe doing something else, maybe playing my guitar more or something like that, right? But think about asset building. Is there a way you can leverage what you're doing every day into building a compounding asset that you own that doesn't rely on you showing up every day to do the work, is a saleable asset like an email list or a brand or a property? Or is there a way that you can roll up what you do into something you own, whether it's like a brand you own that you run all the traffic to so it's saleable, or you run a newsletter, or whatever it is, right? But think about that and spend some real time on that, because I'm telling you, if you're 25, 35, 45, however you are right now, think about when you want to stop this game, and I'll tell you what probably won't happen. What probably won't happen is you probably won't have a year where you make like $3 million and you think you're going to ride off into the sunset and just sit on a beach and do whatever you want to do, or hike the Andes Mountains, or do these things that you're probably dreaming of. What's more likely going to happen is you've got an above average earning potential. You'll keep earning that above average income, but you'll probably increase your living costs, which means you probably won't have as much to save and invest as you want to, which is why my first point was DCA into investments now and consistently, so you've got something in 10, 20 years that you're going to fall back on. But you probably aren't going to have a giant windfall. You're probably not going to have this startup that crushes it. Sorry, not to burst balloons, but that's just the truth of it. So by building an asset, you're creating something with your time that not only are you able to earn an above average income, but you'll also be able to take that asset at some point and roll that into a saleable thing in the future, even if it's on like Empire Flippers or something like that. If you at least spend your time into you build 100,000 person email list in financial services in the United States, and you got a 35% open rate, and you can show that you've got 10 different JV offers that are actually generating revenue, you can sell that puppy for, hard to say how much, but several $100,000 definitely, right? Because there's just fintech companies that want this stuff. So I'm just going to take on a pause here to think about what other points, because I'm off on a rant here, but the asset building is important. This is another important one, another huge lesson, is singularity of focus, right? A lot of us have the tendency to want to have 3, 4, 5 things going at once. We got this affiliate site going. We're doing these 5 clients. We're launching this school program, like me, right? We're doing all these things, when in reality, the concept of going mile wide, inch deep doesn't create any longevity, doesn't create any traction, doesn't create any depth, versus the inch wide, mile deep, right? Figure out what you're doing and go all in on it, even if it's just for 90 days or 180 days to see how the payoff is, right? But don't stay on the surface, because what ends up happening is if you take no risk, you really get no reward. And if you don't specialize and go deep on something, you tend to just be average, unfortunately, right? I've witnessed this in myself time and time again. And only when I've specialized, like when I really went hard on life insurance, did all the clients come looking and realize I could solve their problems. Or when I went really hard on being the YouTube guy, did I only have people showing up and knocking on my door being like, hey, can you do training for my workshop? Hey, can you launch a course? Hey, can you do this stuff? I would recommend this. It's strong, right? So I think those are my lessons for today, because I don't want to make this too long because no one wants to watch my face just talk in the backyard here for more than 10 minutes, which we're at about now, 10 minutes. But think these things over. These are lessons that I've kind of garnered over the last 10 to 15 years in this business. And I have one more I'm going to point out here. Partnerships. If I had to put my finger on the one thing that has been the most valuable for me, especially in the last 10 years, it's other people. And I don't mean like employees particularly, but it's relationships. It's giving to others, them seeing that you're being, authentic with that. Like, I actually want to help you. I actually want to hear your story. I actually want to see if I can solve your problem for you. And I'm not expecting you to pay me or give me anything in return. That comes back around, right? Or doing things with others, like creating a joint venture partnership and then building that relationship with that other person. It's literally like cloning yourself in many ways. Some of my best deals, if not all of my best deals that I'm working today and have worked in the last decade, have been because of people I've met just accidentally and done an act of kindness for, or given them free advice, or vice versa for me, and then it's come back around to them. Because you can send all the cold LinkedIn DMs you want. You can run all the PPC campaigns you want to try and acquire leads, acquire customers, but nothing beats the networking that you get. And we're in a global world here, doing lead generation in life insurance, for instance, like I've done for the last 8 years, and meeting the people I've met in the UK, Australia, United States, and Canada. I just have people like in my text list on my iPhone here that I can text and be like, hey, what do we got here? Can we find a new client, or can we get a new deal? Could we test this out? I literally had a call yesterday, and if you're watching this video, you know who you are. We talked for an hour on all his numbers and all his metrics, and I'm like, hey, I think we could try this way. You want to try it? And that's not because I sent a cold LinkedIn DM. That's because I built this relationship. I trust this guy, he trusts me, and we've met each other several times, and now we've come together in, I guess, a closer way through like my school group actually. But those relationships are important, and they can pay off in huge dividends, and you don't even know, because most of us think in terms of like scale. We need tons of relationships, tons of leads, tons of deals, tons of people to discuss with, but really it only takes one amazing deal. And just a short story on this, I remember when things really blew open for me, like in a big way, 5 or 6 years ago, when we went from doing like 10 or 15K a month to like doing like 150, 200K a month, right? Was because one guy, I did a consulting call for this one guy in the UK. He knew I was good at YouTube, and I did the consulting call with him. I helped him. He came back like 2 months later. He's like, can you just do this for me? Like, I've followed everything you can, but I don't have your brain. I'm not going to follow all these things. I'm like, okay, what's the deal? And he made a 50-50 split offer with me. I'm like, okay. We tried it. For the first 3 weeks, it bailed. And part of me wanted to just give up on it. I was like, no, it's not going to work. It's too hard. But I didn't. I kept going. This was in the UK. We basically had unlimited scale. We were on the client's budget, an amazing performance deal. And I kept at it. Next thing you know, we started having like days where in like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pound profit because I stuck at it. Now I'm splitting that with a guy, right? But that took me to a different level of seeing what was possible and what I could actually do and what I could achieve. And I wouldn't have had that if I wasn't willing to, do the call with the guy for a couple $100 to show him, lay all my cards on the table and show all my quote unquote secret sauce of how we do things, agree to test it pro bono almost to see if we could make it work, and work for nothing for 2 or 3 weeks. And then come out the other side and be like, whoa, look what we created, right? Now that deal's come and gone because deals come and go. But because I did that, I met another guy in the UK that was doing a slightly different offer. And then I met another guy who was doing debt in the UK and in Canada, and we ran that offer, and that just scaled and scaled. So relationships, key, right? So this video's been a little bit different, but it's no different than like just the mindset. All this stuff fits together, right? So I hope you've watched this all the way through, and I hope that this isn't a boasting video, but some of these things relate to you, and you can potentially apply some of this to your business, your world, your life, because, as great as it is talking about making ads with AI, how to run demand gen, Meta, TikTok campaigns, how to do better conversion on our landers, how a quiz works better than a form, how to like do this, that, or the other thing. All these other things are just as important or more, because having all the tactics and tools in our tool belt really doesn't matter if we don't have a stable plan for how we're going to maintain our financial security in the future, B, how we're going to produce more income for ourselves in the long run, and C, how we're going to eventually exit it all and have a life that doesn't involve all this stuff, right? So here I am back inside in an empty apartment that is rented, thankfully, but has been empty for a bit. So we'll see in the next video. Like always, if you want to learn more from me hands-on, subscribe to the channel because I put these videos out 2, 3, 4 times a week. 2, consider joining my school group. Right now, we've upped the price from $97 to $147. I want that barrier there because I want people to be serious that are coming in here to learn from me. We're not trying to create a group with like 1,000 people. We're trying to create a tighter knit group that we can help and help each other. But you've got carte blanche access to whatever you want to know from me in there, right? And other than that, we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.